Hey YouTube, good to be talking to you folks. Today we have a video that's featuring my Beretta M9. What we're going to be doing is we're going to replace the factory grip panels with grip panels from VZ Grips. Now if you're at all into handguns, especially the 1911, you probably have heard the name VZ Grips. Their signature products are custom grip panels for the 1911. Primarily out of G10 material, however, they do have some other materials available. And luckily for me, VZ makes some grips for other firearm platforms, one of which is the 92FS or M9. So over Memorial Day, VZ had a sale on their grips. I picked up these grips. These are called the Tactical Slant. That's the name for the texture pattern. This is a G10 grip. It's made out of G10, and as you can see, it's black and dirty olive. Now, VZ doesn't have as many different types of grips and textures for the 92 or M9 platform as they do for the 1911. So VZ, if you're listening by any chance, let me tell you, if you could manufacture grips for the 92FS with the Aliens texture and do it in Army Green, like the grips that I have on both my 1911s, I would buy those in a heartbeat because I would love to have a consistent look and feel across the firearms in my collection. The other thing I'd like to make a suggestion for is we're going to use the default or factory grip screws that came on the M9 because there really aren't any custom grip screws available. So that's another suggestion I'd like to make to VZ. If I could buy turbo black wash screws for the M9, that would be great. Now, there is one possibility I haven't looked into, and that is perhaps the bushing that these screw into could be replaced with 1911 bushings, which would then allow you to use 1911 custom grip screws. That's getting to be a bit much. I'd rather it was a little more plug and play or a little more intentional, but I might be able to do it with some additional custom work. Anyway, I'm just going to show you how to install the grip panels on my 92. Sorry, this is my M9. I don't have a 92FS. This is an M9. And I think we'll get started. I'm going to go to a GoPro that I'm going to wear so you guys can see what I'm doing. You know, let's face it, folks, we're talking about removing and replacing a couple of screws here, so not a huge wealth of technical information here. Anyway, let me put on the GoPro and let's get started. Okay guys, we're on the GoPro. Hopefully you can see my hands. We have the Beretta M9, we have my Torx wrenches, and we have the grips. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is safety check this. Okay, there's no magazine in it already, and we'll just, okay, nothing popped out. I'll open it up, lock the slide back, and here you go. You can see there's nothing in the chamber. Okay, and then because it's the M9, I will use the decocker and drop the hammer. There you go. Okay. So pretty slick. Now, all we're going to do here is we're going to remove the screws, we're going to pop the panels out, and we're going to replace them with the ones from VZ. Not complicated at all. I do want to point out an error that I made in an earlier video when I said that the screws were some sort of hex head. That is actually not the case. They are in fact a Torx, and they are a T8. Okay, so let's just get going here. Note that these have lock washers. I'm going to tell you something about them a little later in the video. But for now, let's just strip off the old panels. And I want you to notice that the grip screws are relatively flush with the grip panel. That's something that that's the one little nuance that makes this, that makes it worth doing this video for you. Okay, second grip panel is off. All right, now we're going to start with the VZ grips. Get out our first panel. Oh, I wanted to mention that when I was talking about the custom grip screws, these are the bushings I was talking about. It might be possible to unscrew these and replace them with 1911 bushings. Maybe. You'd really have to try it out, and there could be some custom work in it. So then you could use, if you got it to work, you could use the nice custom screws that VZ has. Now, when we put this back, I'm not going to put in the lock washers. They're really nice, they're really heavy duty, they grip like heck, but I'm not going to put them in. And the reason is that the VZ grips seem to be slightly thinner than the stock grip. And if I put the lock washer here, then the screw is raised above the level of the panel, and you feel it. And it feels very strange, especially down here, where you're trying to grip. Okay? So that was the secret about the lock washers. We're not putting those back in. I believe that the screws will be fine with the G10 material. I don't think we need the lock washers. I think that we should be able to tighten them down sufficiently to hold. I did do a dry run of this off camera beforehand, and that's when I found out, oh, look, the what do you call it? The grip screws stick out. Yeah, see, that's just about flush, or maybe slightly recessed. If you put the lock washer in there, it raises it enough that I find it to be annoying. So I'm going to go with it this way. Of course, if it's your firearm, you are free to do it however you want, as long as you stay safe. And, there's not much you can do that's unsafe with these grip panels. Okay, so we'll just do these two screws. Now I'll have to take this out to the range and fire it a number of times. 1, to test out the grips, and 2, just to see if those screws loosen up now that they don't have the lock washers in them. But honestly, I doubt it. I don't think there's going to be any problem. Okay, let's make sure we've got all 4 screws seated all the way. And I personally find that this, well, first of all, you guys know that I'm a fan of green. Where firearms concerned, any kind of olive or army green, is great. So there you go. There's a look at them installed. Like the way it feels. I do believe the texture is definitely a little grippier than, definitely grippier than this pattern. One is the material too. This material just feels slicker overall. And then when it's textured, that's great. So that was that's how we put the VZ grips on the Beretta M9. I got to be honest, if you have trouble with that, maybe you shouldn't be working with firearms. It's really simple. Really dresses the gun up, and I'm very happy with the appearance. Okay, YouTube, there's my Beretta M9 wearing its new shoes, so to speak. Like I said, these are the VZ grips, tactical slants in black and olive, dirty olive, excuse me. Really feels nice. Yep, like it. Looks really good, and although it's not the aliens texture and the army green like my two 1911s have on them, I still think it lends kind of a customized look and, helps unify the look of all my handguns, which is what I was after. So we'll have to go shoot this guy at the range, see how it feels when you're actually shooting, but I'm sure it'll be just fine. Anyway, thanks for looking in on me.